Whatever happens. Hey, welcome to Momentum Global Leaders Podcast Test 1. This is Thomas Castellanos and Orest. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name.
Yeah, don't do that.
Today we're here because both of us are embarking on a journey.
Because we have plenty of free time.
We've both been working in business, living on Koh Samui. Our backgrounds are very diverse. I'm American. Orest, you're from Ukraine. How does it feel to be here in Thailand in 2025?
I just wanted to say that my background is diverse because I have a canvas and, and a door. Sorry, being silly. I don't know. I don't have opinion because that's my first year here, kind of. So if you would ask me how was China 2024 comparing to China 2016, I would answer this question.
Okay, answer that question.
Okay, I will tell you. So that's why I'm here, because I got kicked out of China by Chinese government because I was helping too many foreigners to open their business in a way they not supposed to pay bribes, and government didn't like that, so they stopped giving me visa. And difference is in that because there was influx in entrepreneurs in China, and Chinese government doesn't like to share something valuable with other nationalities and countries.
That makes sense. So that's an interesting thing you brought up. Many businesses who are watching in North America will be like, oh my God, these guys are doing bribes? Where's the ethics? But when you say bribes, you mean that there's a normal way that foreigners do business in a lot of these Asian countries, and it usually has to do with even lawyers who openly advertise setting up companies in whatever way they have to in order to help them facilitate opening businesses, right? Because the requirements are very strict in a lot of these countries, like here in Thailand, for example. So tell me about that. How did you feel? Did you feel like it was an ethical problem when you were opening these businesses for foreigners?
No, I mean bribes, like payment for them to actually do their job.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but
Thank
if you are able to secure all the documents in the perfect way, prepare all licenses and everything, they don't have choice but to kind of do their job. But if you consult, means that you don't know. They're like, oh, you want consultation, you want like a list of the documents, you want our help, kinda, which is actually so they have a whole department that is actually responsible for because I was living in two places, and those two places are open trade zone, which means that they have whole department that is responsible for helping foreigners to actually establish the business. So you're supposed to go to that department, and they're like, yeah, if you want our help, there is always some way that you need to pay some kind of fee, and it's not it's just cash. So, but if you prepare everything in perfect way and you just go straight to the government, you bypass that department. They just have no choice but to do, because China is not that corrupt as Ukraine and Thailand. It's not even close, but still.
Okay. That makes sense. Sometimes these fees are there because they're usually always there because the lawyers or the government is making some sort of profit, but it's a different mindset, right? You just have to get used to it.
It's just an expense.
Right. And both you and I don't condone the use of bribes in business. It's like an administrative fee that they don't let you get by. They won't help you. if
Yeah,
you don't pay.
there is a difference if you comply with all the requirements and they still don't give you a license. You just don't have a choice. Of course, I never paid for them to close their eyes on something. That's
Mm,
very different.
you better not have.
Yeah, it will be online.
No, I'm just joking, Orest. That's funny. That's funny, and it is an interesting thing that sometimes the ethics that we have in the West. It's a great topic. They are things are done differently. I mean, there's a whole hierarchical system here where you have to pay people, whether that's in respect or maybe in lavish parties or maybe it's gifts. And you can look at it like it's a thing that's wrong and that you're going to go to the government and try to protest, but a lot of time you have no power. So you just have to go with the flow. And of course, we're not taking any unfair advantages when we do that type of activity here. And it's something I'd like to talk about in the future with you. How to help people who are doing global business to just kind of be open-minded and be willing to do the business the way that the responsible and ethical people are doing it in another country where they might do practices like this.
Yeah. Is that your question right now? I can answer that.
Yeah, if you wanted to touch on it,
Touch
go for
that?
it.
I don't have a lot of experience in Thailand, but in China, everything went down to um, be willing to acquire as much information as you can. So why did I start to open businesses in helping, like consulting people to open businesses in China? Because I opened my own business and I was thinking I will do advertisement because I would love to Chinese companies go abroad. So I actually thought I will do that since I can do web development and branding and all that stuff. Because Chinese internet it doesn't exist. It's like it's a different beast altogether. Anyways, that's a different story. But when I was opening my company, I was like maybe second person that opened a company in this free trade zone that is fully owned by foreigners. So even government didn't know what kind of documents they needed, and they tried to push me around, going different departments. And it took me maybe 2 hours. Oh, sorry, 2 years. No, 2 years to just get all the list of the documents. It doesn't even include what kind of document. How do I get them? I just have a list.
Mm-hmm.
And when I opened this my company, and I helped two friends to do the same, everyone was just coming and asking, and I thought like, okay, it's too many people already, so I need to make it my business. And it just went down to asking as many people as you can, be very humble, and be able to allow other people to show how smart they are and how important they are. And if you give them this opportunity to educate you, you don't need that, but give them this opportunity. They educate you, they patronize, like everything. Just allow them to do that, and they give you a lot of information. And next time you go to them, they already love you because you see them as your like teacher or something that needs someone that needs their help. And that's like, don't fight, never, no, don't argue.
Yeah.
That's the I think that's the main reason we were able to open the company.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's good to take a humble attitude here. I agree. And so you started that business, and then you had all these people trying to get your help, right? So you became a consultant in opening businesses in China. And what happened? How long were you in China in total?
9 years, but first 3 years I was doing different stuff. Of course, I was teaching English because not. I hate this job. There is one of your questions. What job?
Yeah, wait, but how much did you get paid per hour teaching English?
A lot.
It's like
That's
what,
the
$50 to $70 an hour in China?
once. No. 7. Hold on. 6 times 7. I will. It was 65, 60 something. That was the most,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Easier job was 40, and it never went lower than $25 per hour.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's amazing. So let me ask you the question. So what is your least favorite business, Orest?
I would say,
I mean, I guess you
yeah,
could say your least favorite job. Maybe we'll answer both questions. What's your least favorite job?
my
Obviously,
my
it's
my least favorite job. That and the same at the same time, arguably, this job brought me the most amount of money.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, teaching English and
In
Chinese
China.
in China. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there is one more. Teaching. I was teaching business, management, and economics to Chinese. They starting from 16 to 18. They
Mm-hmm.
supposed to prepare for the exams to go to Ivy League. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I realized that after 3 weeks of teaching them. I could not even. They don't know anything, and their English is not good. So it went like after 1 month, I almost switched totally to completely to Chinese language.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was teaching economics, and it was bad because one of requirements is to make them to engage with the lesson. That's impossible. Like not even don't even think about that. And it's very complex. A lot of topics squeezed into half an hour.
Yeah, I
A
know
lot
what
of
you mean.
stress.
Finance is like the most, and economics are like so important, but so boring.
Yeah, boring for them. I love it. I enjoy this kind of discussion. They don't like it.
I think it's fun when you're doing the analysis for yourself, but when you're learning about formulas and all that, I'm just like, oh man. But to each his own. Okay, and my least favorite job, should it be that I've done or just in concept?
I think in concept, you cannot like you don't have that many years in your life, so you can go through
Well,
tens of
my
jobs.
least favorite jobs that I did were when I was working in construction when I was really young, like I was 14, 15. Those are painful days. You have to, I mean, you realize why these guys become tough guys just from working in those environments. Like hammering a nail into a piece of wood, that's my least skill. Um,
How did it happen that you needed to do that while you're 14?
it's because my brother, and he's 10 years older than me, his friends were related to the construction industry in Atlanta, Georgia, in the U.S., and they had a lot of property development. They were getting jobs as freelancers, doing wiring and fencing and things like that. So I ended up just kind of joining them as a helper and getting paid $50 for a 14-hour day of hammering things. It's terrible. But
Whoa.
at the same time, they were doing a lot of tech stuff, so I got into like their IT world. They had like a freelance IT business as well that they would do house calls. I remember they would drive around the neighborhood and put flyers on people's mailboxes because it was illegal to put the flyers in the mailbox, but you could like stick it on the mailbox and it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so those were the early days of learning. And my least favorite job, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to say,
You mean your least favorite business?
yeah, like okay, my least favorite business, I don't know. Any business that is very time consuming and doesn't pay a lot of money.
Yeah. W- w- You know, how would I define my least favorite business? I would add one more thing that is crowded,
Mm.
like accounting.
Yeah.
Anyone can be an accountant. You cannot be creative, so you cannot kind of beat your competition with low effort. So yeah, I would say some kind of accounting or like some calculations that just needed to be done.
Yeah, monkey work, right? That's
Yeah,
what they call it.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And software engineering is actually probably my least favorite business, to be honest. Because it's like you're coding all day and you're always looking at the screen. I've read those reports where they say that like 70% of your life is spent looking at a screen, and that's really depressing to me. So why would I want to have a job where I absolutely have to be looking at a screen the entire time? I mean, I practically have that already, but I
Yeah.
feel like it would be even
You
worse
cannot
with
avoid
coding.
that.
It's terrible. I think you can avoid it by being a construction worker. Or a plumber or something. Yeah, I mean, hey, I know in the rest of the world, people who do those jobs aren't really compensated that well. But if you're in the U.S. and you choose to become a tradesman, they have these unions, and they make like they start out at like 19, 20 as an apprentice, making pretty good money, maybe $30, $40 an hour. And then by the time you're like 23, you're making over 100 grand. It's crazy.
Hmm. You know who can be actually pretty profitable person that doesn't need to stare at the screen for a long time?
Who's that?
Bespoke cobbler.
Cobbler?
Yeah, person that will make shoes, but those shoes are bespoke, like how do you call this?
Custom made.
Custom-made shoes.
Yeah.
Because I think now this fast fashion just like is already people like despise this, and they want something that is tailor-made for them and is long-lasting because they want to show that they are more mindful and take care of
Demure.
nature and demure. Yes. which is no joke, is mindful and demure.
Yes, I
Bespoke
agree.
shoes are actually mindful and demure.
You're right. That's so funny. Yeah, I have a belt that's supposed to last like 100 or 150 years. It's like an American-made classic belt. The leather's like that thick. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
So I know what you mean. I agree. Are you a subscriber to that buy it for life mentality? Was that how you'd like to live?
I'm like polar because back in Ukraine, when my environment was, I was surrounded by creative people because I studied in architecture and then in graphic design and 3D animation, and everyone was there because they didn't want to be they didn't want to go to an art school because no one makes money doing like oil paintings. But they like, okay, I like to draw, I maybe can be an architect, which is half true, but it's like 10%. If you can draw, it's just 10% of being an architect. Anyways, so I was surrounded by those people, and uh, they how to call this? My English, sorry. They express themselves through their outfit. So I would like to be keep
I
up.
see.
I would like to keep up with them. So I would like to, yeah, be stylish. But then I moved to China, and we lived in tropical island, and no one cares because you sweat first 2 minutes you are outside, and you cannot buy anything expensive because you just ruin this in a washing machine. So I'm like, I would like to buy something cool and have it for a long time, and at the same time, here in tropical island, I throw away every like 3 months all those t-shirts because they look just embarrassing, you know.
Yes.
And you
You
cannot
gotta rock
anything
the
you can
holy
do with
clothes, man.
that. or I just buy like very very thick linen that's just not bleached even, and just
Yeah, I agree. There's no such thing as buy it for life in the tropics, is there? I do want to touch on that. That's a good point. So how important do you think it is nowadays to invest in your appearance, like as a business leader? How do you feel about that? And how would you do that in this environment where your clothes fall apart?
We just had a long talk with Valerie like a few days ago, because I have two. I'm also, again, I have conflicting thoughts. From one side, if I state that I have money and I wear disrespectful outfit, I'm not saying like disrespectful in terms of like profanity on your t-shirt, but if you like wearing shorts and slippers on a meeting with people, it shows, kinda shows your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, if you are actually rich, why would you care what is your outfit? If you don't need to deceive anyone. How deceive you? Like, you don't need to make an impression. Your decisions give you money, not your outfit.
Yes.
So it's kind of difficult to say,
Yeah, I agree. It is up for debate, and it depends on the customs of where you are. I mean, like here, nobody wears anything nice, and I like wearing nice clothes. I tend to take that as an advantage, but then I do pay the price in heat and in wear and tear on my nice clothes. So my habits are that I dress like a bum when nobody will see me, and when I'm not in front of a camera, and then when I have an appointment, I dress up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like reoccurring commitments. Like if I'm not selling something, if I'm going into my own business, I probably wouldn't dress up that much unless there's going to be a client there. So it's kind of a funny thing. And I have this theory that the more expensive that you try to look, the poorer that you are.
Yes. If you want to impress someone. But at the same time, I was working for Revo, and few times I needed to, because I needed to go to other places, so I was wearing my trousers and my like shirt, and clients were, they actually respected that. They loved that, and each of them said, "Wow, you look awesome today. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just working here." He's like, "Oh, I thought that's your place." I'm like, "No, I'm just a manager." So it kind of, but at the same time, if you have plenty of clients and someone is like, "I don't want to work with this guy, he looks sketchy," and you have plenty of clients, you can tell him, "Yeah, it's just your like whatever. Sure, you do you."
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's it depends on what level you're at, right? I don't think Tim Cook can go out like a bum.
But Jobs could do that, wearing his turtleneck and his
That's
sneakers.
a good point. So I guess it comes down to your personal brand. Like if you allow for yourself to be having this scruffy, at least mode, right?
That's, for me, it was very weird because Apple products, they look awesome. Their interface is very nicely designed. And if I would be a person that has the last decision on the visuals, I would assume that I also kind of need to know how to dress up properly in front of millions of people.
Criticizing Steve Jobs'
I'm not criticizing. I'm just
mom jeans, white sneakers, and a black turtleneck.
Yes, I'm just wondering.
When he was younger, he dressed a lot sexier. I mean, come on. In the 80s, he looked great.
Well, did he? So he knows how to dress up. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read an article that Steve, he actually had a closet full of the same outfit, like the black turtleneck and the jeans and the shoes, because he got to a point in his life managing Apple where he didn't want to spend the time, the brain power, thinking about what to wear.
Yeah, I have same problem. I don't want to think about what to wear.
And that's actually, I think, a tenet of minimalists, because I have a friend named Michael who he built this really cool, like, super minimal house here in Koh Samui, and it looks like somebody from Apple designed it. He's got like everything super Swedish vibes, very futuristic, with technology in the house. And when you go in his closet, it's literally like one side is black shirts and black pants and black shoes, and the other side is white shirts and white pants and white shoes, and that's it.
Yeah, he has an imagination.
Yeah.
I read that apparently a minimalist house can cause depression.
Really? How?
Yeah, it's not so. Before, people thought that people that are depressed like to live in minimalist house because they don't want to feel this like anxiety from something is on not like they don't want to give themselves more anxiety about just taking care of the house. So the emptier, the better. And then I read this article that there was like a study, and they understood that people that live in white, empty environment for a long time, their brain works differently. But I think
What
it's very
happens?
logical because our nature around us is very different and very busy. Like when you go outside, except blue sky that is rarely empty, completely empty, yeah? Everything has a pattern and details, movement, gradients, everything.
So minimalism in a big city would make you depressed, but maybe minimalism in a beautiful, lush
Yeah,
nature environment
maybe at
would
least,
be
yeah,
fine.
spend a lot of time outside and then enjoy your empty house
Interesting.
in
Yeah, I can
tropical.
agree with that. Because I mean, minimalists in the big city just feels like a mental institution, probably.
Yeah, actually, just basically.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, let's shift gears a little bit. We've done really good, I think, with warming up and exploring a little bit of our characters, some of our likes. You know, obviously, we're into these kinds of self-help,
Eclectic.
or we like lifestyle. We like exploring our past. And you can tell Orst is very well educated, and I'm just, listening to him. I'm here to learn all I can from him. Orst, the great.
I cannot blush
Orst.
if I would. I would. I'm just pale.
No, I'm the red one. I'm like a tomato. Okay, so let's switch over to business a little bit. So you and I are launching our online businesses. We've both been working together for some time. We've kind of helped each other out with various things. You've helped me a lot with my visual identity, my branding, and I've helped you meet some people that are now some of your loyal clients, and find some human resources, some people to work for you. So what's next? What are we doing? What do you think we're doing?
I can tell what I'm doing, and I can tell what I'm doing with you.
Yes, go
Uh,
ahead.
so, but my plan is still the same. I already told you that I want to collect a portfolio as a business consultant or startup consultant, and just I have my rebranding because we will not do anything for startups. At least they are willing to pay as much as big companies for rebranding, because and I honestly don't think that strong visual identity can bring you money if you are like a restaurant.
Yeah, I agree.
If you are a big not big, if you are at least, my last client is iron, like a metal casting factory, and they didn't have proper website, and they want to go to a Chinese company, of course. Yeah, they want to go to international markets. I understand that this investment will be very important, because first thing that people do abroad, I mean, not in China. Still, I cannot use to that. I'd still say abroad. They go to your website, and they don't even have a website. So I understand in this case, this rebranding is important for them. So I will niche down and just only rebranding. And I will not even, if I see that they don't need rebranding and they're like, let's do rebranding, I say, no, don't do it. Because I want to have a portfolio that shows my impact. I don't want to show that I changed things that work to things that work a little bit more. You know, like Pizza Hut rebranding. Why would you do
Yeah.
that? What's the reason? The Johnson and Johnson rebranding. I mean, you are not following that, but it's just ridiculous. So yeah, my point is that I will try to make my rebranding agency as autonomous and as profitable with my minimum involvement as possible, and then I will try to sell it and completely move to consult businesses. And what I will do with you, we will grow our personal brand, because only portfolio is not much if you don't have exposure or following.
Right. Right. And it's not that we need to build a big following. It's more that we just need to be seen and document our work, and that's really what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think, like, if you're a Chinese manufacturing company, like, if I'm gonna look online for a need for a problem I have, maybe it's some camera gear, I'm willing to try a Chinese brand, and it's usually based on price. And that first purchase or so, it's not really going to matter. You know, even if the brand is totally whack and there's no website, as long as the thing is well made when it arrives, or if I feel like it's pretty well made, and as long as it does what I need it to do, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. But then it's that second purchase when if the brand is really nice and I like how it works on me, then I feel even more encouraged to be a repeat buyer, because then it's not like that one thing that's just hiding somewhere in my life. It's like, okay, you know, I could be the guy who wears that outfit, you know. So then the branding's nice, and you're not wearing your food once you leave the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So anything that's gonna turn into a lifestyle anchor, I think, could use rebranding. That's a great plan, though. I look forward to seeing you make progress. And on my side, I'm simply just getting people like you together with me, and we're starting this community of leaders. And everyone that I know you're smiling to yourself, but everyone who's doing a business is a leader. There's two different sides to it, right? You have the management side, which is all of your operations daily, and then you've got that side that where you need to have a plan and you need to know where you're going. You need to tell the people that are with you what to do. So it's not about leading from the standpoint that we're going to be famous or that people need to take our class. It's just more like there are better ways to lead. There are better ways to communicate. There are different ways than the people that you do business with think.
Yeah.
That are more ethical, that are more noble-minded, and in the long run, if you follow those more those good principles, you will actually make your business survive longer. It might impact your budget now. Like, you might have to, take the moral high ground, but in 2 years, you'll have a great reputation. So it's important.
I was smiling for two reasons. For one reason, that's I don't like to call myself a leader. And then, because you can see I was smiling for too long, it's because I just, I actually did what you told me. I tried to hire personal assistant. I hired one. It was American girl. She not. I mean, like she's older than me. Can I call myself a boy? Whatever. So she's older than me, and she was trying to be my personal assistant, and she quit from the starting like after 2 days. I blame myself. Anyways, that's not the story. But there was another guy. He's still working for me, and my job post was I'm not paying salary. I pay only commission from my income, and I will be completely transparent of what I make. And this guy, he's like, he's 23, just he's finishing his university, and he is I like your idea. Yes, I'm totally with you. I will help you make more money, and you give me more money. And I assign him as my social media manager and like ghostwriter. And that's when I needed to, and I was kind of a good leader, because he is still, after 1 week of grinding, because social media, on at least Twitter now, since I know that, is a grind, and your creativity is not as important as just a lot of work on Twitter. So I was able to inspire him, and mostly with my questions. I almost never stated anything. Every conclusion that I draw out of him was through my questions, and I think that's the reason he got very inspired. And right now he's typing messages on my Twitter, growing my account. And last Wednesday we had 30 people, and now we have 140 now, I think, because it's like 20 people a day. So it's not a lot of people, but it's a big growth comparing to me struggling for 2 years getting 30 people.
And how often do you meet with him?
Once a day we have a call, about 30 minutes. And
Cool.
I send him videos. I ask him questions about those videos. It's his homework. And we use those videos so I ask him, how do we implement everything that we learned, because first I watched those videos, and we try to implement them in our work.
That's so cool. So you're basically reverse engineering other creators who are doing well, and then you guys are both studying those techniques and then remaking them.
Yes, we have we have three main vectors. First, we reverse engineer people's work, and we do basically same but with my voice and with our voice, because he's also adding a lot of, I like how he's writing. And then second one is that we look for inspiration. So we we rewrite other people's statements on those videos, putting it in our niche and with our voice. And the third one is we just basically learn how to grow on Twitter, and we discuss that.
Cool. You're doing well. Network teams, like remote teams, a lot of people have trouble with them.
Yeah.
I've had trouble with them in the past when I've tried to manage people. And it's that you want to give everyone on that team a high level autonomy, which you've done. That's what the studies have shown. And you want to meet with them regularly. So you're doing everything you need to do. I was working for Hollywood director Gil Younger on a network team. I was the technical manager of his startup. And he and I started out very close together, but he has a very busy life, and we are on like opposite time zones. So anyway, long story short, we ended up communicating less and less and less frequently, and then over time, suspicion started to build up on his side that he felt like I was taking advantage of his
Absence.
his budget. No, just like, doing work too slowly or not doing things properly, and that kind of situation happens when you're not communicating regularly. So be careful if you're gonna hire freelancers. I have gotten to the point now where I don't know if I want to be under the burden of being a leader of people. And so I've started to wade into the deep waters of AI and see what I can accomplish on that end. And so that brings up the next point, which is I believe that we are in a time when you might be able to be a solopreneur, a solo entrepreneur, and work entirely with AI replacing a lot of these freelancers that you would normally use. And I know you've talked a lot about leverage. So how do you feel about this concept?
Yeah, it's very tricky because AI is limited in terms of creativity. But how many creative people you need to get a leverage? Maybe only one. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not necessarily to have a lot of creative people together because they will ask for more money and that's reducing your leverage. And maybe it will cancel itself. But at the same time, who said that collective mind will be always more I forgot, will be always more creative and wise than individual. I don't remember. So it's tricky. It's tricky. And I can argue with my people. No, they argue with me. Let's say that. Let's be truthful.
The wisdom of crowds suggests that collective intelligence can outperform individual expertise. It's not a guarantee that collective mind will always be wiser. That's from AI.
There is someone said that, I don't remember.
Lanier, someone called Lanier, or James, The Wisdom of Crowds by James Soroiki.
I thought it's some Greek dude.
Francis Galton. No. Anyway, please continue.
So we have this competition. In this competition, no, we didn't. We are like planning to have this competition, and I'm being honest, transparent. My expenses without my rent, food, just only my business stuff, including my Adobe Cloud, whatever, I forgot. Anyways, all those subscriptions and people are $2,200 around that
monthly.
Yeah. So I'm not profitable yet. I'm not profitable, but so yes. So our competition is it's 2,700, but whatever. It's not whatever. It's kind of important. My point is that you have upper hand in making more money faster.
Right.
But maybe with time I can scale more drastically with bigger team. So why I'm saying this, let's set a time and number goal or time goal, and just for the sake of it.
No, yeah, we can set a number goal because I think in the future we'll have more challenges like this, and this group is going to grow. I mean, we're going to have, before you know it, I mean, we're planning on, this island is full of entrepreneurs, right? People who are doing mildly well. I have my dog's treat here. They're, and
that was random.
They've moved to Koh Samui because the cost of living is low here. This is like another Bali, basically. This is like a minor Bali, and here we have a lot of digital nomads. And so we're gonna have more people like that in the group, and I think a lot of them are kind of at the place that we are. You know, they have a business, they've got some liabilities, and they're kind of stagnant. I think like they've reached this level of like maybe I'm earning 5,000 a month or I'm earning 10,000 a month, and they're not going any higher. And it's like I think a lot of that is what you're talking about. They're hitting the wall of I'm one person. There's only so many, even with AI, there's so many prompts I can do, so many ideas I can have, so much attention span that I have. And when you have that team, you have more of that. So yeah, let's do a 6-month challenge, I think. But let's see who can scale their business to, $10,000 in profit first.
Per month or in total? Okay, I'm joking. I don't think I cannot do 6 months. I don't want to be, how do you call this, downer or something. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I will not be able to reach for sure 10,000 in 6 months. Let's do 1 year.
Okay, let's do 1 year. I agree.
Or let's just put 6 months and let's see who is making more money per month.
Okay, fine. Let's do 6 months and who's making more money per month. Yep. But this is a friendly competition. It's not a super rivalry, although I'm going to be fighting you in the intellectual side of things. But
it's good that we meet online.
I'm going to continue to also introduce you to people that I meet that I believe that you have a chance of finding chemistry with. And that's the beautiful thing about Momentum Global is that we already are, but we are going to be a global organization. I've got people in Colombia, people in America, people in Southeast Asia, people in China. Soon we'll have more people in Europe. And we're basically putting our networks together and then using these relationships and referrals to get people more of their needs solved through people that we trust. I mean, I know we both do good work in our realm of expertise. And then we're going to keep finding more people. And I believe that there's so much work to go around, especially amongst people like you and I, because we are really trying to break out of this slavery to dopamine, these traditional greed-driven wealth mindsets. Because both you and I don't really care about being rich. We just really like business, I think, because it's the social aspect. It's the opportunity to do something that is helpful to our community, and then we can also give it like an artistic spin from our own imagination. And where else can you do that? I mean, you try to go put up art somewhere, and somebody's gonna take it down because it's their property, or the city's not going to let it be there unless it's sanctioned. So
unless you're Banksy. Give me 1 second. Hold on. It's good that we are not live. Man, it's cold.
I thought your air conditioning was
off.
Was not going to be enough.
Yeah, me too. I also thought that. Now I'm freezing. Crazy. Yeah, are you like, I have one comment. Yes, totally. If I can see, I have the same level of happiness if I can help people for $1,000 or for $5,000. If I can see an impact from my decisions and my advice, that's something that makes me happy. Of course, I just cannot help everyone. Yeah. In thousand, like if I will. Tommy, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. I've moved on from that microphone. I've said my goodbyes already.
I don't know why it's happening.
When is your hit single gonna come out? Aren't you gonna do some like Madonna covers or something? I almost want to eat this.
What are you talking about?
'Cause you've got the studio mic. You're
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
come out with your Spotify album.
I'm holding it with my hand now.
That works.
Yeah. You started to talk about, yeah, I ruined your comment, sorry. Yeah,
No,
basically,
Banksy. You were saying Banksy, unless you're Banksy. Go ahead.
no, it doesn't matter. You were saying about that we want to move from dopamine driven greed.
Yeah.
What do you I feel like you have a strong opinion about that. Can you tell me more?
The strong opinion is just I feel like I mean you know more about my personal life, and I have had recently some tough times even with my family where I have made some bad decisions that have put stress inside the relationship, and it's basically because I was so addicted to getting the high off of doing the next big thing, the next rush of dopamine, and then I developed all these habits like being stuck on social media, impulsively shopping for hours, even abusing alcohol at times, things like that, just to facilitate some kind of rush and keep myself above board. And then after I had kind of like a little bit of a mental breakdown, I realized that it's just like it's the accumulation of me pushing my dopamine level down farther and farther, my baseline. And this is all information that I learned from watching Andrew Huberman. And when I heard about it, it just totally clicked. And then I started to become more aware of when I was feeling dopamine rushing into my brain, because you can actually feel it. You were with me when we did this experiment with a close friend of ours who I think is also addicted to dopamine, and we asked him to say something to you that he thought he would get a kick out of, and then he insulted you very close to your chest, and he felt great about it. He felt a huge rush, and then he ate a donut that had just been fried and dipped it into sweet condensed milk and tried that, and he said that the rush that he got from the telling you off was better than the rush that he was getting from the donuts. And we were explaining to him that, and this is something you can watch in Huberman's podcast on dopamine, is that the more we enjoy, essentially, the more spikes that we get of enjoyment, the less motivation we have, and also the more inclined to be depressed we are. So that's kind of the cycle that I was at. I was accomplishing more than I ever had, but I was feeling as bad as I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, I agree. And so yeah, I don't want to be, but basically it's inevitable because the whole industry and economics is based on based on proposing to fulfill our top, like the chain, not the pyramid of needs, to fill this topper pyramid. And this topper pyramid is not it's not essential, but it's the feeling the best, brings you the most sort of joy. And yeah, you cannot avoid that, and you will be surrounded by everything that surrounds us is based on this dopamine greed. And yeah, it's very difficult to live like that.
Yeah. You brought up the pyramid of needs. I want to see if I can find that.
There is one requirement in that pyramids of need, to be loved and appreciated or something like that, or socializing needs, I don't remember, which I totally agree. But at the same time, social media also abuse that, because you kind of want to socialize and to be respected and to be like approved by other people. And what do? You go on social media, you post something, you get your likes, and that brings you that sort of joy. But if you think deeper, who is liking you? Why would you try to get approval from people that they okay, let's not even talk about are they good or bad, or like what is their life, what is their view on the world. Let's just say they know you from one video or from one picture, and you are so happy to get their approval that is based on nothing, and then you neglect actual your close people and close friends, and these people you don't need to get approval from anyone, but those people you need to get socialized with.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is like the junk food of socialization. I I think it's just there's an instant spike when you're using social media, and it's a very synthetic thing. I mean, it's sort of like when you eat junk food and then you really feel like disgusted with the feeling inside your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel like you need to work out. Yeah, I really don't like it at all.
Did you notice that TikTok, you get all the likes first few hours on TikTok? That's the ultimate. Like trap. They made the algorithm so they just push you for few hours and then it stops. But you can post few videos a day and you can keep getting those likes constantly. But if you stop for one day, your TikTok will be empty. So that's also very, very smart from their side.
Yeah, they're using it's true. These developers are trying to addict us. They really are.
You cannot blame them. That's how they make money.
Yes, yeah.
The same as a restaurant. I would like
what
my
happens
people
when
to
the creator themselves becomes addicted to the drug that they created. So they're really hurting themselves is what my point is. But let's talk a little bit about human needs. So there's a couple of different theories, and I just wanted to cover this. So one theory is that there are three needs. One is the need for achievement. One is the need for affiliation, and then the third one is the need for power, and that we're all kind of like on different spectrums between these between these needs. So need for achievement is how people are motivated to excel in the tasks they're performing at, especially ones that are difficult. And then the need for affiliation is a desire to maintain warm and friendly relationships with people. And then the need for power is a motivation to influence and be responsible for other people. And actually these theories, there's a few different ones. We'll talk about the next one in a second, but we don't really have a concrete understanding of how this works. These are just theories that might help us get closer. But for instance, you might notice that people in Asia have a higher need for power because of their cultural background than people in maybe North America who might have a higher need for achievement. So this actually relates to leadership because you actually kind of want to know these theories because you want to be able to understand what kinds of needs the people on your team have. So let's say you have an assistant and they really want to seek power, like they want to eventually be a manager or they want to influence people. You might give them tasks that allow them to exercise those needs, and then they might be more satisfied in that role and perform better. Right? So
that's a good idea.
That's just a way you can use it. But let's talk about more specifically. Like I like the next theory, which explains, this is Maslow's theory. This is Abraham Maslow from 1943, hierarchy of needs, and this is what you were talking about, the pyramid, and this is really important also from the standpoint of starting a business, because
Hello.
we've discussed that. Are you there? Sorry. Hey.
Yeah, we have third person.
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
Welcome.
Thanks.
We're
Sorry, you just got me at the gym.
It's
I
okay.
was at the class, but I'm here.
Welcome.
Glad to see you.
Welcome. How good to see you too. We're just practicing, so welcome to the practice podcast. How are you feeling?
Great. I'm feeling great. Better than ever.
You look good, man.
A little
This
sweaty,
is-
but yeah, I'm feeling good.
If we decide to post some of this, I'm just going to introduce you if you don't mind. This is Pipe, or Felipe, I should say. Pipe is his nickname that I call him. This is Felipe. This is my cousin from Colombia. He's a very smart guy. He's really into helping people, consulting with them with their social media businesses. It's really nice to have you with us here, Felipe.
Thanks.
So we were just talking about the ideas that people are motivated by different basic needs, and we were kind of like discussing the theories of what motivates people, and we were kind of coming from just talking about how social media is like a trap that gives us a lot of dopamine and makes us feel really good, but then we kind of lower our motivation and feel worse afterwards. And it's like this tug of war, like we're constantly trying to prevent ourselves from getting involved with social media or consuming social media, but then we also need it to promote our businesses. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Felipe?
Well. I got two thoughts about this. The first one is that we must not be consumers. We're social media producers, and that's what we should focus in, because yeah, a lot of people like to spend time like scrolling, but I think that we should take our role as social media creators. And yes, definitely we need to see what's happening around our business, what's other people doing in their business, how are they promoting themselves, what type of content they're doing, the formats they're using. But it should be just for the purpose of getting to know our business, That's it. We shouldn't be consuming all the time. That's not good. And the other thing about this is, yeah, like I'm telling you, we need to know what's happening, what's cooking around. But at the end, we also need to have our motivation from within. We shouldn't look for things to raise the way we feel, but more like I'm doing this because the result I want. I have a strong and deep reason to do what I do every day, and I should have it clear every day, every time in my mind, and that's it. Therefore, you don't need any kind of motivation to do what you need to do. For example, sometimes I wake up and I don't want to come here. A lot of days I don't want to come to the gym, but I do it because I know what I get from that. So that it's the same. This is if you're in entrepreneurship, you have to do what you have to do, and that's it, man. You just have to have a strong reason to do it. That's what I think about that.
Very well said. Hey, Felipe. So what is your process for motivating yourself and keeping that vision of what you want to do clear every day?
Yeah, like I told you, you first have to know why you're doing this. What's what you want to achieve with this? You want to improve yourself. You want to impact other people. You have to know, because yeah, this could be about the money. This could be about getting recognition, but you have to find a deeper reason to do what you do.
I agree.
In my case, for example, yes, I want to find the best version of myself. I'm working on that, and that's what I do. That's what I learn new things. What I improve everything that I do every day. I need to improve it. I need to improve myself. I want to impact a lot of people, so I have to learn how to speak, how to get to them, how to connect to them, how to learn to motivate them. Then you start you start thinking what else, what's the next step you have to go to become a better person or to achieve what you really want to do.
I
And
agree.
so, like I'm telling you, you just have to write down, you have to memorize, interiorize what you really want to do, what you want to achieve. And that's the reason for doing what you do every day, even whether you don't want to do it or whether you love it to do it. But you just need to have the focus on the result that you want to obtain from what you do every day.
I
And
agree.
I think part of it also is that our mind is always thinking about the future, But if we focus on the present, we don't have to think a lot about it. We don't have to give it a lot of thoughts. Just do what you have to do. Don't even question yourself because the mind is very tricky. Sometimes there's these little boys talking to you. Oh man, you should be relaxing. You don't have to do that. Or people might think you're silly because you're doing that, because you're doing it that way. If if you allow your mind to, or the little boys to do that chit chat inside of you, you're wasted.
Yeah.
So it's better to just focus on the present and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So, what kind of thoughts of about future we need to avoid?
Maybe doubting or thinking that maybe you shouldn't be doing what you're doing now, that you could do it later, or that you're doing it wrong, or what you're doing is not enough. Just yes, I mean you need to have your vision, right? You need to have the vision of what you want to achieve. You have to have that present every time. But regarding whether this will work or not, whether this is a hard thing or an easy thing for you to do, that's the kind of thoughts you should avoid while you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's so easy to start overthinking about everything and then you talk yourself out of it. And I think that the thing that we overthink about, especially the three of us, is that like I worry sometimes that if I'm going to get into doing social media or promoting something, that I'm going to be part of the problem and I'm going to like hurt people. Like I'm becoming part of the bad machine that's enslaving all the minds, and I think that's not the way to think about it. I think it's a tool, and you can use a tool to kill somebody, or you can use a tool to build a house. So let's
right.
build something for people.
That's right. I mean, we're getting a new responsibility, because yes, you're talking to people, and what you're giving to them is what they will be replicating, or at least just giving a thought about it. So you should be responsible with your actions and what you're doing. But I think that's the focus we should get. We're doing a good job. We're going to impact people. We're helping them achieve their goals. And if you think that way, you're going to do the things the way you should.
That's awesome.
Yes, you're getting a new responsibility, but as long as you know what you're doing and how you're impacting people, you should search for a way to do it well, to find your voice, to find the adequate information you're going to provide them, to provide a frameworks that maybe you have already used, that you have already proved for yourself, so you can share with others, stuff like that. Regarding what we were talking, I was just doing this seminar from T. Harv Eker. Not sure if you've heard of him. He was actually speaking about that chit chatter of the mind, and he says, "Well, you got two options. You can listen, or you can just be as if you weren't hearing that and go do your stuff. That's what you got to do. That's what his advice is, that you just don't give it a second thought about it. Just go and do what you have to do."
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very well said. Thank you, Felipe. I appreciate you joining us, and it's really nice to hear you and to get practice. I mean, that's really what we're doing now. This is nothing official. We're getting used to all of this, and I want to use the three of us. I want us three to bring more people in eventually to this group so we can have more discussions. I don't know how many people we're going to be able to have at one time, maybe 4, maybe 6 at the maximum. But I think, this is a good platform for us to share, to find our voice, and to just share ideas, really. And then once we have a network of people from different locations, we can even build a referral network. We can help each other's businesses grow. Let's try to remember back, Felipe, because I want to talk about some of the topics that we wanted to discuss, like setting up a studio, starting a podcast. What is your goal? I know you were even coaching me a little bit about, creating an offer, because the idea you kind of shared with me was like, you want to build a following so that you have a platform, and then you want to create an offer so that, because you have to like invest a lot of money to advertise yourself, that offer, that $100 offer, $500 offer, or whatever, is going to pay you back for the money you invested into that initial spend to advertise yourself. So what's that? What does that look like?
But yeah, no, that was an idea. I was just speaking to you the other day, because sometimes when you joint venture with someone, the main question they always ask is, okay, but how many people are going to see me? How many people are we going to have there? That in the end, that's what people want. So I've seen there's this framework in which you just pay some ads, but you will. I'm still not sure of the whole puzzle, but I know there's people that work it that way, where you just pay for ads, you pay for the reach, but within that leave, you get to make people join whatever you're promoting, and that way the ad spend is already covered by the sales you make during the live event. So we should not fear of contacting someone who needs a lot of views within a live session. You can get to achieve the amount of viewers you want. Of course, you have to pay. You have to have a budget, but you can easily do it.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as you have the format defined on what you want to do, and but yes, you need to have some numbers. Like 10% of the people that's gonna be in the live is gonna buy my product. Well, then if it's gonna be profitable or not.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
but
Because
that's
you're starting a business.
something you can do. Yeah, those are the new ways of working that we need to know and we need to take advantage of. So we can do some interesting ventures with people. Maybe sometimes we think they're unreachable, but if you provide the numbers they want, you're in.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are into buying followers, and that's terrible because then they're all bots and they disappear. But there's another way. You can pay to advertise yourself, and it's going to be very expensive, and you can grow very quickly. But you also have to treat it like you're a musician, or maybe like a movie, or maybe like a startup product launch, where you have to hit the ground performing like a professional. So you got to have the skill set. You've got to have the information to deliver. That's going to be valuable, because if you just pay for promoting a terrible song, or
And
Yeah, that will not work.
you don't get
Yeah,
a second chance. If you mess up once, that's like you're done.
well, I mean, I could get
Yeah,
a
we
second
can
chance.
mess up here. We can mess up here, but definitely no. But I think this should be a progressive thing. You can start your live with your native audience, and then you got to pay for some people. But yes, you definitely have to have your voice already developed, the way you are. Find yourself. Because this is not just like the I forgot the word, but yeah, like a radio man voice. No, that's not what we're talking about here. It's about your inner voice, with who you really are, and to show yourself to others. You have
Yeah.
to develop that naturally and be very confident on what you're doing, so people will really accept you by who you truly are, and they will accept your message as well.
So I can't be Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I love his voice. Oh, he's the
Or
best.
like
I just
George
love
Clooney.
him. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Man.
It's awesome. Can I argue against the?
Yes, of course.
Can I
please
argue against this idea? So, against paid ads, not against everything else, just against paid ads. Why I'm here, yeah. Anyways, what I think is that now algorithm is so good that if your content actually is good, it will be shown to other people. And if your content is not good and you promote yourself through advertisement, first of all, you will face the issue, like, for example, for 100 clicks, for 100, usually good ad performs 100 views, 1 click, and this 1 click is around $2.50. And if your funnel is very, 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 very good, from 100 clicks you get around 1 subscription. So your product should be at least $200 to kind of be profitable. But if you make one tiny mistake, your CPR will drop maybe like even 30%. That's you're already not profitable. And then like you're just losing money.
Define CPR. I'm stupid.
CTR, click-through rate, sorry.
Click-through rate. Okay.
CPR is different. It's when you when you have no pulse and when your heart stops. No, click-through rate. Yeah, if your ad is bad, and then if your content sucks. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the power went out.
That was the randomest in history of all podcasts.
I love this kind of discussions.
Don't edit this out. I challenge you. Leave this there. Anyways, so when your content sucks and you pay ads, you ruin your personal brand. So, like this, for example, Gary Vee started his new completely empty account, and his few first views or videos were not more than 100 views. And then he tweaked and he got 50,000 views, having like 17 followers or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, but that was actually his account. It's not someone copying him. It was his personal account. I mean, so my point is that if you are good, you don't need ads. If you need ads, now maybe you're not that good. Or at least do your social media. Find a post that went viral and then do ads based on this post.
Yeah, and you should always test it organically first, I believe. But, we have yet to jump in. I think that's the thing.
One more thing. Sorry. Then if you do ads, you need a lot of time tweaking those ads. So might as well spend time tweaking your social media content. And that's basically the same. But for free.
Yeah. So I just wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk, unless did you want to say any reply, Felipe, about that?
I didn't want to be mean. I just
No, sure. It's your point of view, which I actually share. I agree with you. As per if I'm developing my brand and just throwing out an ad to get more leads for myself, that's definitely what I should do. I should try to use organic content And once I'm sure that that organic content is working, I should consider then uh, releasing an app. But I mean, when you're joining ventures with someone else that you're interested in having in your live or within your social media accounts, and that person is basically just looking for a certain amount of viewers, that's the way you should do it. You know,
Yeah.
you,
So let me
you can
ask
pay
you.
for. Yeah,
Well,
go
so
ahead,
like,
Tommy.
okay, in my experience, like I've done video production for businesses, and it's always like that, where you're like, we'll do the video, but how many views are we gonna get? And so it's like, okay, let's spend $500 on ads. Save me. So it's like, how would you recommend that somebody does that if they're gonna go to a business and try to promote them? Should I tell the business like, hey, look, before we run an ad on my video, let's see how it does without ads, and then decide? But then you should still pay me the full amount anyway, even if it's not that great of a video.
Oh yeah, definitely you have to have your numbers already, at least an estimate. For doing that, you have to have your framework developed. You have to know your numbers before launching any out of that or any strategy at all.
So I
Yeah,
shouldn't tell people, hey, I'm going to bring you 2,000 views unless I know that my videos average 2,000 views. It's a tough one,
or
right? Because if you're starting out as a creator, you're like, how do I mean, obviously we should take time to hone our craft, and I have, but it's like, what should you do?
I don't understand what kind of service we are talking about or product. I think you
Well, I'm
guys
just-
skipped the first part.
That's okay. Like, let's say you're a digital marketer or you're a videographer, and you're going to go to a business and say, hey, I'm going to promote you. And then they're saying, well, what's the ROI? Why should I hire you and pay you $500 to do my social media for this month, or $500 for this video? How many people are going to watch it? How many customers am I going to get from it? And then you say, well, I don't know, I just make videos, or I don't know, I just make posts on social media.
I thought we are talking about creating community and providing education.
We are, but Pipe brought up a point of collaborating with businesses. So like, if you're gonna, wow, I just lost my.
I
train of
thought
like,
he meant about collaborating with other influencers. No.
is that what you
yes,
meant?
yes, exactly. That's what I meant. When
Okay.
you're collaborating with someone else, and
Okay.
they won't do it unless you give them a certain number of viewers.
I see.
Most of the
I
cases,
see.
that's what happens.
So
You
you're
know,
talking about, if we're going to be growing, how are we going to gain access to these next level up creators?
Yes,
and partner
exactly.
with
That's
them.
right. That's right. Because all at the end, that's what they're gonna look at. They will only ask you, okay, what's in it for me? How many people will view this leave or this collaboration we're gonna do? So you can do it. You can assure them that you have to pay some money for doing that. After that goes your strategy of how to monetize that spend you already made.
Mhm.
But that's the next chapter of that, which I already, of course, I don't have it figured out already, but I know there's a way to do that, and we should
Well,
have it in at sight.
we're going to figure it out, and that's what this is all about.
Let's have a next episode discussing this thing.
Okay, you want to do it? Yeah,
Like,
sure.
because you guys have you know something that I don't know, and you skip from point, like you skip dots that I didn't connect. Let's have next episode when you guys share how to what? Sorry,
We're going to throw all of our ideas of what we've learned from others into a pot of how are we going to go from where we are now at this like ground floor and go
Obscurity.
up the stairs to to being in the room with other next level creators. And then how we're going to interact with them and gain partnerships that we're going to share following. And there might even be some strategies in that next episode, if you have nothing, how you can still find them and maybe get following faster by asking for favors or doing something else. I mean, there's the barter system, right? We've always had the ability to go to a business and say, I'll give you this value if you give me that value. So maybe
That's
be
good.
transparent.
That's good copywriting. How to get something if you have nothing from people that have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we're gonna sharpen persuasion a lot.
Yeah.
Tommy, that's your work. Like that's your job. You're our salesperson.
I know that's how I've survived this long. So okay, I want to go back to the other discussion though, if you guys don't mind. So we were talking about how to, where are we? These three guys who we've probably rejected social media for most of our lives because we didn't want to get involved with like this, very.
I just lived in China. I no have social media.
But it's kind of been like just junk food thing, right? This has just become more and more relevant, right? It's like in the beginning, all I wanted to do was watch the cinema and like, read books and, I thought I was like intellectual and smarter than everybody and that, if you just put your head down and worked on your business, like you were going to be fine because those kids online didn't know anything and they were wasting their time making videos in their bedroom. But now those kids in their bedroom are millionaires. So it's like, what the heck? I should have made videos in my bedroom when YouTube was starting. So, so it's like, how do we as adults now get over ourselves and accept the changing world and buy into this social media and do it in a responsible way, but also like what are the underlying factors? And so the underlying factors I was just talking about, and this is coming from my class, I've been taking classes on business management and, the 5 types of human needs from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow was a researcher in 1943, and he found that humans have psychological and survival needs. These are the most basic needs, and they are the needs for water, food, sex, sleep, activity, stimulation, and oxygen. And then it goes up from there. Once you've satisfied the water, the food, the sex, the sleep, then now I'm okay. I can start like worrying about my safety and my security. That's the next level up. So that's protection, security. Then the next level above that are social needs. So once I have a place that's safe, that I'm not going to get attacked by people trying to steal my stuff and take my women or woman, then now I'm going to have friends. That next level is the social needs, right? So now I've got a castle, I've got a moat around me, I've got sex, I've got all the safety I need. Now I can have some friends, maybe some other guys who have some castles or some people that are down there in the valley. I feel bad for them. They can come and hang out with me in my castle. Great. And then after that, once I've satisfied that I've had friends, then I go after ego. That's the next step. So now I want to erect statues for myself, and I want people to come to my lavish parties, and I want to sit up in the highest seat and, have a small club of just me and a few other cool guys in the corner while everybody else is over there. And then the final highest level in his theory was self-actualization, which is like, it's like when you overcome your ego and then you're like, I want to be fulfilled entirely in my life, like inside as well. So I was arguing that, a lot of the social media, a lot of the advertising as well, a lot of the good business ideas are coming from those very basic needs, like sex, like maybe a little bit higher, like social needs,
Protection.
And protection. Maybe that's what money really stands for in our lives. That's maybe why we feel like we want to accumulate more of it, right? And then maybe we're going a little bit higher up on ego. So it's like, if you can find a way to portray yourself online, or you can find a way to build a business around one of these basic needs, I think that I would argue that you're going to have a lot easier time. There's going to be a
Yeah,
higher demand.
yeah, but also I think is yeah because people are there in social media, and this is opening a new gate, which is the way we approach to people. Otherwise, yes, because people are looking for entertainment, people are looking for having a good time while they're scrolling down in their cell phones, and what we're just doing is, hey, you're there, I'm there too, and I need to find a way to approach myself in a way that's tempting for you to say, hey, yeah, I want to listen what you're up to. But let's say that social media is like the yeah, it's the media where people is now. We're all there, but it's like the new opportunity for you to start a new conversation with people which otherwise you wouldn't have an opportunity to reach. So the thing is that in this approach, you have to make it a unique approach, an approach that is gonna make people have interest in what you are going to say to them.
Do you think
That's the
that
way
there?
you. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Tell me.
Do you think that there's an infinite number of unique approaches? Like, should I be worried that I'm not going to find my unique approach and that somebody else is going to find it for me?
Yes, there's a lot of approaches. The thing is that that way of approaching comes from yourself, and that's the interesting thing. You know, there can be yes, there can be a specific framework for you to develop a way to approach to others, but if you don't really own it and make it your own and make it genuine for others to see, it's not going to work. You know, that's the big secret. You have to make it genuine, real, appealing, but not false appealing. The the true appealing of being yourself to others. Because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, not everyone is going to connect with you. You know, there might be people that think, hey, this Latin guy, I don't feel connected to him or whatever. Yeah, this is the truth. Not everyone is going to resonate with you or what you have to say. You know. But as long as you're genuine, you will connect with people that feel the same. At the end, that's how this works. People connect with
Right.
you because they feel this connection. Hey,
Mm.
this guy really understands what I'm going through. This guy really knows what he's talking about. I like what that this guy's talking about because I like that too. And that's how you connect with people. But this has to come from a genuine part of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the answer about our responsibility as well. You guys were asking if we are helping people and we do this through social media, isn't it like a hypocrite? But if we, like Felipe said, if we are genuine, that we are honest, and honesty, first of all, is honesty with yourself. So if we don't lie to ourselves and we are humble enough to share this information and our journey with other people, we will find people that are into what we do. But that's very tricky because everyone every day, every second lies to themselves in like 99%. Okay, you want to go to the bathroom. That's pretty true. Everything else is kind of doubtful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, it is tricky. I think it's really cool what you're saying, Felipe, because I agree with you. Finding the authentic self is super important. It's hard to do that, and also I do think that there is some sort of self-restraint because I know, like, I wouldn't behave the way I behave, like, with my wife or maybe, like, sometimes with my friends online. And I think what we need is, like, I think social media in itself is so isolating because, like, you get on this page and you scroll through and you feel like you're missing out on all these amazing adventures that other people are having from wherever, and you just feel bad, like, I'm not that successful. or like you just keep watching and you're like looking at things you shouldn't look at, like things to buy or women that you shouldn't be looking at. And then the point is I think we need these communities. Like I think that's why having these once a week, once every 2 week meetings to be able to express our personalities to a group and then find your voice.
Yes, that's right. Also, I think that it's not just about being real, like being the way you are with your wife or with your parents, because sometimes I can be a very quiet person within my inner circle. I can be very quiet. What I mean with finding my voice, the real me, is that I have this special way to appeal others, which is genuine to me, because I can truly be outgoing in certain scenarios, but that's not about me being a different person that I usually am. It's just connecting this new approach to who I really am, and that will connect with others. And also, nowadays people is not stupid. Before you could go, yeah, honestly, before
Are you
you could
sure
go
about
out
that?
and sell. No, I mean, people before you could just go out and sell them this new thing that is not going to work. But now people is not stupid, and besides, they have this cell phone in their hands every time, so they can go and search. If you're offering this, with just one click they can go and find 3 similar offers to what you're doing right now. So if you're not genuine, if you do not show at least a certain level of security, it's not going to work for you.
You're right.
So you have to be genuine, and you have to be sure of what you're offering to others. It's not going to work.
Yeah. It reminds me of this historical moment when in the 70s they used to like trade stocks and bonds by like making phone calls, and like there was like all this disconnected information, and there were these different places in especially in the United States where you'd have to go, and then they would all like have to communicate with phones to like the New York Stock Exchange, and the traders were making a lot of money off of the difference in price because it was changing and it was taking a long time to figure out what the price change was. But then they started using electronics in the 70s, in the mid 70s, and so instantly those companies, everybody in the whole country could have the same price, and so they couldn't make that money anymore. So now, especially with computers, like the margins are so tight, and you're just not making as much money. You got to find a new way to create value because it's gone, right? So we have to do the same. We've got to adapt.
Yes, this hyper exposure forces you to be authentic, to be more real. Yeah, like you said, people think they're fake, or we tend to think a lot that there's a lot of people faking, and there are. But also, you can take a look at the results, or maybe it can result for them for a few months or for a year. I don't know. They can get a good income by selling smoke, but it's not going to last forever. If you really want a sustainable business, you will not do it doing it that way.
Yeah, and that's
Because
why.
at the end, we're looking for a sustainable business and for a growing business in time. And you achieve that by being authentic. It's the only way to do it.
I agree. Well said. Yeah, that's why we're doing this, because I think that there's an epidemic of people now who they are just, I don't care. I'm going to do every scam. There's no ethics.
Yes, they're playing the fast track for everything.
Yeah.
NFT.
Buy followers, NFTs. Who cares about laws and regulations? Tell them lies. They're dumb. They'll buy it.
Yeah, but that's a time bomb. It's going to explode
Time bomb.
sooner or later.
Yeah, I agree. So we're here to help young people learn ethics because they don't teach it much anymore.
Yes,
You're
that's
making me
right.
feel old.
We are old, Orest.
Oh no,
We're-
I'm gonna leave this Zoom.
half of
Guys.
our lives are over, but it's okay because with age comes wisdom, and we've experienced exponentially more in our short lifespans. Okay, we're young than our fathers did and our grandparents did. So the information, the way the speed the world is evolving at is just insane.
Yes, and the interesting thing is we're in the middle. We still have these values from before, and we're used to these new technologies and these new ways of communicating, and I think that's an advantage for us. Maybe our parents wouldn't match very easily within these new ways of communicating, but we have that advantage. I think we have that on our side, and we must exploit it to our advantage. Guys, gotta go.
Okay.
Thank
It
you.
was good. Let me know when the next session is, and I will come prepared. First, it was very nice meeting you, and
Same
I hope
here.
to see you again here. Let's
That
build
was
this
very
space.
dense. That was dense. I love it.
That was awesome, Felipe.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, what a great guy. It's so difficult when you jump into a room and you got two guys with big mics and you're on a phone.
Yeah, I also
Sweaty
thought
from the
about
gym.
that. It was strong. Yeah, I like it.
So I think the first 20 minutes he was just like his brain was catching up. So thanks for being patient. But I want to have a supportive environment, and thank you for helping me create that, Orest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I think we should also conclude. But is there anything else you want to touch on before we go?
Yeah, let's just how to call this, hammer this down. I just like, if there will be someone that would watch this podcast, in case, I don't know, I just want him to know that we are actually doing this challenge, and I will actually expose what I make on my Twitter for now, because I don't have other social media actively not doing them. But yeah, and will you
Yeah.
go into details what happens every day with your business?
Sure. I'll tell you right now. I mean, I make it depends on how hard I push on video. Video is probably my most profitable thing, at least here in Thailand. And it's if I have 2 or 3 clients, I'll bring in $1,000 to $1,500 a month from that.
Okay.
But that's is it really related to my business? It is, because they're the same company, and I'm focusing on corporate videos, so I'm actually coaching people, and that's actually how I kind of got into this, is because I really wanted, and I was a creative director, but I really wanted to be a film director, and I really enjoy the process of helping people perform on camera and rehearsing each take until finally you get really close to that edge where you feel like they're about to do something beautiful, and then you roll that and you shoot it. But you can do the same thing with business people.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we have social media from that standpoint, because it's I can actually direct a person to grow up and talk better on camera. And I think a lot of it is performance, and that's interesting that Pipe shared, or I'm sorry, Felipe. I should stop calling it Pipe on camera. That it is okay to have a persona. I was gonna say that, I've heard Jim Carrey say that he made a decision to build a persona for himself to be successful, and that's when he started becoming really big. So when I heard that, it sounded to me okay, well, that guy Jim Carrey is just an imagined character, and he is, but it's just it's his imagined character, so it is authentic because it's something that he created, right? So there's a nuance to it, right? You're putting on a show, you're acting, but you're being a
But
character
that's
that you're
your
making.
act.
Right. You're not reading out of a script, and you're not being told that you're the lover of a painter, and that you have to, commit suicide, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather the story go this way, and then
Are you
have to do it.
are you talking about Bacon's boyfriend? Oh, nope. I'm just.
No,
Why would you
I
bring?
don't know.
Anyways, okay, cool. Sorry, it's just so it's like about that. Yeah. My point. You like video. Yeah, you can. You were saying that video is not your. But yeah, I just want to. The point is that we have this thing about social media. Oh, no. AI and people. Sorry, I'm just tired.
That's Felipe. He's the social media guy.
Yeah. So we had this argument about AI and people, and I delegate because I want to have more time acquiring other projects. Yeah. So my point is that I would like, and the personal assistant that I would hire, I would expose my income totally and my expenses to him, so he knows that I'm not lying, and let him calculate. I hate accounting. Anyways, so my point is, yeah, I would just collect all the money together, because, for example, you say you will make $1,500 per month. I just closed client $2,800, but I will make $300.
Yeah, because you have your expenses.
Yeah. So
But
I need two
I
clients.
have my expenses too, because I've invested, I don't know, $20,000 into film gear and still paying it back. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is that okay, I will add the film thing, as long as it's corporate film. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
The clients that I have that I coach, I have just 2 right now, and I'm making like
Good job.
maybe 600 off of those 2 clients.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at. But I want to scale it, and I haven't launched anything. Like I've literally been living off of. I moved to Thailand because it's so cheap here, right? And especially during COVID. Before COVID, I mean, Southeast Asia was incredibly cheap. It still is, but it's getting more expensive. But you make $2,000 a month here, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You can save money on $2,000.
Yes.
I mean, I can pay for my expenses and all my wife's expenses, and save $500 a month off of $2,000 a month.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was content with that. But then I started brushing up on finances, and I started seeing that I'm aging, and I started thinking about retirement more and more, and now I'm back in the fight. So that's where I'm at.
I personally have no other options. I cannot stop thinking about business. It's just like I think about 3 things all the time. Oh, 4 things. How to cook better food. In no particular order. How to cook better food. All the design outside, like around me, is horrible. How to make money, or this guy is dumb, not making money, but he could make money. And third one, painting, like art. It's just constant whirlpool. I don't know, like I just think about this all the time. So I don't have, like, I would never, if I had dementia, maybe I would, but I would never stop thinking about making money. I don't like money. I just like to make a system that makes money.
It's a board game that is at a very, very high level. Board games are fun, and you get free things for playing the board game. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, instead of wasting your time playing Catan, you can play Catan in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, you could play business. Yeah. And it does improve your life, because then you have to go into the community, and it's like, I mean, what I took the 5 years off, because I used to work for Apple, and I was pretty well off set up after that. And I took the 5 years off to, like, I thought what was going to be happiness and it was nice to like be retired, but
Instead
very
of getting
boring.
retired, got retarded.
You start to lose motivation to do things that are healthy for yourself. You start to let yourself go. You start to look worse. You start to, like feel worse about yourself. You all the motivation goes down, and then you have like nothing cool that you're working on. Life feels meaningless and pointless. You get like overwhelmed by the fact that time is going by, and then anytime you get on social media you feel like crap, so
Yes.
it's like, don't become a hermit.
So if you scroll, you analyze. You are analyzer of social media, not consumer. And then you need to be creator.
That's the main message. Yep. Don't consume. And then the other message is
Research.
don't just throw it all away. Don't view it as this big bad ugly machine. It's just there's a lot of people using the tool the wrong way, and there's a lot of people hurting people. And how are we going to take back the tool and convince a bigger portion of people to use it properly? That's kind of the main idea. Like, can we spread? Can more people just be like Andrew Huberman and actually do their research and actually put out useful information and not waste time?
That's what everyone thought internet would be. Not kittens.
Yeah. I mean,
And
kittens
something
aren't
else.
that bad.
Yeah.
What the worst is
Porn?
people who are like, porn is the worst. But the worst is people who are like, I mean, porn is a drug. Call of Duty is a drug.
Yeah.
But the absolute worst is people who are like, I have the answer.
Pay me money.
Pay me money. It doesn't work.
Thank you very much. I'm leaving. Yeah.
That is the absolute worst. And now it's like, it used to be like really seedy guys like standing around like in like tourist traps, like trying to scam people with something crappy. And now it's like young 18-year-old good-looking people who come from good families, who have like all the material possessions they need, who have great educations, who've got like everything, and they want to be like have the lifestyle of the rich and famous, so they're willing to hurt people to get it. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I wish there was but it's very difficult to make, but I wish there was a guy that was saying, like, actually, that didn't get lucky, or that worked a lot of time and effort to get lucky. You know what I mean? Like, if you expose yourself, of course, I cannot say that. Yeah, sorry, my bad. No, don't expose yourself. I mean, like, if you not expose yourself. Yeah, you expose yourself to a lot.
Yeah,
you
you're
know
right.
what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, I was just joking.
But I wish there was a guy that said, I'm 40. 20 years ago, I didn't have any money. And slowly, I build up my wealth or my power, ability to make money. Because honestly, I don't want to be negative, but I am. Most of the people that I know didn't make money only by themselves and without getting like lucky in something very like a Bitcoin or like just buying a land without research. Because if you research already, that means that the competition is not that big. It's already very big. If you don't research and then you buy somewhere and then it blows up, means there was no competition. And then you had no idea, because it is just pure luck. But my point is, like, my relatives and some people that I know close, they had buffer in $20, $100, $200,000. They had relatives in government. They had tremendous help of their parents for a very, very long time. and then they eventually got lucky with some crazy venture, like. So I never yet saw a person that actually from zero, from having no job, slowly build their wealth by making right decisions constantly and showing those proofs. Gary Vee maybe, but he had a big company of his father, and of course his father was Belarusian, which is not. It's not like he was spoiling his kid. I understand, but still, he like Gary Vee didn't play the game, or like he didn't have stakes that high that if I'm not making this money, there is no other choice but me to being like a janitor or something. So you say, yeah, being honest and not ruining other people's lives by false promises. And those people, they had rich parents and they can shoot their video of their lifestyle, which is not their lifestyle. They just rent the house, but at least they have money to rent the house, and then they show that how rich they are, and then people, okay, these people are rich, they might be they're supposed to know what they're doing, and then they pay money, and then those people get actually rich because they made a perception of being rich and people trust them. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
That was bad rant. I'm sorry. Getting emotional.
What's interesting? That's like how Hollywood actors become famous.
Yeah.
They're in movies that are so beautiful because somebody paid a lot of money for this beautiful production design and nice cameras and everything and lights. And then, hey, that's the guy who was in that life. But actually, most entertainers are very bad with their money because they're not very well educated. Like the Beatles are famously, they were terrible because, of course, they didn't go to college or anything, Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, we have that opportunity, I guess. And we all have that opportunity to document our life. And what I think happens is I think we all will get lucky. I think everybody gets lucky at a variable rate.
Yes, more or less, of course.
And the more you expose yourself, it's sort of an investment of the more you put yourself on the internet, the more chances you have to people discovering you, the more questions will be raised, the more people that might come and approach you for whatever reason that might lead to either an introduction to somebody who you need or will help you, or to a friendship or to a community. And
so there are two types of luck.
Like that.
One type is that you have no power on, like rich parents, you got lucky and you're set up, doesn't matter what you do. But for example, if you're talented it's easy for me to learn languages and I moved to China and it helped me. So I kind of got lucky because not a lot of people can learn Chinese language. But I needed to kind of use that luck, which I didn't leverage the best way, to be honest, but at least something. So that's the luck.
You can leverage it now.
I'm trying. I just closed the Chinese factory deal.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say about luck. There are two types of luck. One is that you need to use, like knowing other people. You still need to work, yeah? And lottery.
I think the single most, I told you about that TED Talk. I want to look it up so that people can find it. Hold on. But anyway, in the talk, I'll just talk about it. He was saying that the most important concept, this is some guy who opened up many businesses. The most important factor for business success is timing. It's this guy, the single biggest reasons why startups succeed, Bill Gross, TED Talk, 6.4 million views. And he says the single biggest reason why startups succeed is because of timing. So if it's timing, you don't really have control. Of course, there's a lot we do, like I do, you know how to do. Anybody who's been through business school has used matrices and like frameworks, like Pipe was saying. SWOT analysis, Porter's 5 forces, these types of things. And you can analyze what's happening inside and outside in the environment and try to catch the wave, get the timing right. But there are just some things that are great ideas that they don't work. And I think a lot of times we end up falling into doing things that are because we started down one path, maybe it wasn't the right time, but then it put us on a track to connect with people that made us see what the timing, what really is the opportunity in this timing right now. And so I think that's the biggest thing. I think actually when you network with people, when you build a network of people by focusing on relationships, then you're increasing your odds of meeting somebody who knows what's happening in this timing, who can help you to see the opportunity that's in this timing. So that's the greatest investment that you can make if you're thinking about starting a business or getting a job.
Yeah.
You know, or restructuring your business or starting a new initiative.
Agree. Yeah, totally.
Okay. So any final words? I think we're going to make our wives very unhappy if we make this a 24-hour show.
Yeah,
I mean, I can.
It's pretty late. Yeah. But
Okay.
I would say those 2 hours flew by. Nope. Do you understand me? Do you understand what is coming out of my mouth?
I say it again because you cut out.
Those 2 hours flew by very fast.
Oh yeah. It was nice. It was nice. It's always fun to talk to you, Orest.
Thank you for having me. Cool.
Thank you for having me. Okay, thank you for watching this. This is MoGlo Podcast, Episode 1, The Test, and we will resume maybe next week or the week after.
What is MoGlo?
Tune in. MoGlo is Momentum Global Leaders.
Okay. Redo your outro.
For what?
You say Momentum Global, aka MoGlo, because no one understands. We don't have that audience for you to shut it like that. Let's do it again.
Yeah, because my website will be moglo.net. Okay, anyway. Thank you for watching this. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Finally, I get to see you. You've been watching Momentum Global Leaders Podcast, and you can tune in to this podcast weekly or bi-weekly, whatever we decide on. This was Episode 1, The Test. We will continue growing this community to help you to learn how to scale your business from 5K a month to 10K a month and beyond. We're here to help you to connect with other high-performing entrepreneurs and leaders around the world. And we thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you, Orest.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.